let's get into this. So our first bit of news today comes from Studio Eclypse. As you know, a while back they had a big scare, right? Because the official Berserk account basically posted that this whole thing is unauthorized, which, you know, probably indicates you're about to be sued. If you have like a whole public announcement that, you know, what you're doing is unauthorized, yada yada. I thought that they immediately got a cease and desist. Why do I say that? Because I run a YouTube channel that has unfortunately had the great pleasure of interacting with Japanese companies. That's why. Apparently not. So let's read through this, and then I can give my thoughts on this. We'd like to address some of your concerns regarding the recent statements. We did not receive any type of formal cease and desist, takedown request, or a letter asking to stop the project. After a lot of consideration, which, by the way, it's sort of telling, but it's also not. I'll talk about it in a second. After a lot of consideration, we have decided to move forward and establish communication with the IP holders. Supported by a great company within the industry, we're working to get a chance to adapt this arc of the story the way the fans deserve as an official studio next year. This has led to the voluntary decision of taking down our Black Swordsman videos for the time being until the situation resolved. During this period of time, we'll continue working on pre-production materials, animation tests, to be able to show our vision for the project to them. We will also be unpublishing our Patreon page, which, by the way, the Patreon page is the biggest thing. I think that's why most people, including myself, were like, kind of sus. For the time being, as a sign of respect to our overseas viewers and a good faith for this project to come to life the right way. For many years, all of our fan projects have been self-funded. Sure. We decided to accept donations after a large number of community asked for a way to support. This ended up helping us cover a lot of background art, cleanup, and compositing costs. All other stages were only possible by sheer passion and sleepless nights from our group of friends and animators. We will now go back to our roots and continue to fully self-fund our fan projects moving forward. Thanks to all of our supporters, yada yada. We will keep on struggling. All right, so number one, the fact that they didn't get an official cease and desist, frankly, I think they got lucky, and frankly, they still did exactly what the cease and desist letter was supposed to do. They ceased and they desisted. They took down everything, right? So even though they didn't get a formal cease and desist, the functional effect of what happened is exactly the same, right? So whether or not that was because they could send a cease and desist. They have every single right in the book to take down this project, right? They have literally, maybe they have like some kind of grounds that I'm not getting to stand on, but as far as I know, they could be wiped off the face of the earth immediately. Because with stuff like this, like fair use and stuff, it doesn't fly, right? And because they have the Patreon thing, that is also a for-profit, right? So all of that is immediately completely different. So that's like number one. That said though, I don't know about this, right? Because I obviously know nothing about what the official, official studio thing, right? Just thinking about the way these things happen, I don't know if this is possible. This sounds like something that is a cool idea, that we're going to reach out to the official rights holders and see if we can figure something out. But I don't know if that is actually possible. Because I suspect that there have been a lot of different studios who have expressed interest in adapting Berserk, right? So I don't see how they would be in any way different, and why they would have in any way... Because I think there's also like a whole cultural angle here where they've already done something shady and Japan doesn't really like them anymore. And they have like, you know, not really good standing with them. So there's also that, right? Because in Japan, fair use, like custom art, all of that is completely different to the West. It's like if you do anything even remotely transformative, you will still be looked at as like, why are you doing that? Stop it. Asking nicely before sending a cease and desist is the best way to not seem like the bad guy. I mean, in this situation, they wouldn't even really be the bad guy, right? Because if this was just a fan project and that's it, that's like one story. But there's a reason why underneath all of this, they're also talking about the Attack on Titan project. Because they're not doing just Berserk. They have a lot of people who have been saying that their entire thing is mismanaged into oblivion for a long time. Official studio idea is gonna kill any credibility. Just speaking from my, and like I said, I have no experience in terms of how these kinds of actual things work with animation studios and pitching yourself to like a rights holder or anything. I have zero experience even reading about this stuff, so like my opinion is literally just a vibe, you know? I just can't see this happening. Like for me, it's literally as simple as that. I cannot imagine a group of basically freelancers getting together saying we're gonna make a studio, please give us your IP. I just do not see that happening. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why would you risk like one of the most well-known IPs with someone that is a inexperienced little studio started by a bunch of people who have already shown that they're quite mismanaged and don't really know how this stuff works? You know? It's good that they took down the Patreon and that they're like still gonna keep working on it, but I think the damage has been done on that front. I mean, I say that, but I obviously wish them the best of luck. I wish them every single bit of struggler points that I can. I hope that they go there, and whoever is like Studio Gaga or whoever was responsible for the IP, right? I hope they go there, they show them what they've done, and they're like, you know what? Pop off, King. And then I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be there. I will watch the whole thing, and I will love it. I will love all of it. It's gonna be so beautiful. I love it. I just don't see it working. Do they think if Mappa did a Dawn to Dawn adaptation right now without the rights to it would fly? Because that's what they think they'll become. Basically, yeah. Basically, yeah. Because I think with stuff like this, if you're basically doing like a fan retelling of a story, obviously I've talked about this before. Most of YouTube is rampant with copyright theft, right? Like all of this stuff would have to be proven in court. But based on my understanding, if you're doing like a fan retelling in terms of like a story that actually already exists, the biggest thing is if you are profiting off of it, right? Because with a lot of cases, it's basically like a market replacement, right? Something like this wouldn't necessarily be a market replacement because it doesn't exist. However, they could argue that it is a market replacement because the manga exists, and the manga is the primary value proposition for this kind of medium. Right, so with all of this, I think there is a bunch of like, one's a manga, the other's an anime. Do they compete with each other? Some might say they do, some might say they don't. There's a bunch of like legality there that I just don't know enough about. But the biggest thing is that they had the Patreon. I think that's where they really burned themselves. If this was literally just something they made and put out on the internet, I think there would be like a lot more grounds to stand out. But even then, it's obviously not legit. You can't really do that. Why would anyone delegate the adaptation of Berserk to a foreign small studio with no connection to the Japanese broadcasting network, risking going through a complicated legality of even hiring them? Precisely. Precisely. And like, I don't know, supported by a great company within the industry, I don't know if this is like someone actually well-known. I mean, who knows what they're doing behind the scenes, right? Because clearly they do have a lot of talent. They do. The stuff they've made, it looks incredible. The stuff they've actually made is... That's what I mean. I fully support them. If they manage to do this right, I will be there day one. But based on the things I've heard with voice acting behind the scenes, based on things I've heard with the music behind the scenes, based on the things I've heard with Attack on Titan behind the scenes, I just... You know. We have received hundreds of comments from people reading Berserk for the very first time after seeing our videos, and we couldn't be more happy about it. Is the whole point of a project like this. So this is basically you saying that it is, you know, a sort of a market replacement in a way. Please support the official release of Berserk, and if you're vocal about supporting our cause, please be respectful to others. United, we will always be stronger. The Black Swordsman is a passion project created by our utmost respects. Yeah, sure. Sure. Regarding the Attack on Titan Requiem project, the first and only episode is expected to release before the end of the year. The project has been in the works by a group of passionate fans in our collective dedicated... A group of passionate fans in our collective dedicated to adapt this popular alternate ending to the animation medium. Please bear with us for a few more months. We hope you understand that animation is an art form that takes titanic amounts of time and effort. I think with this, they have like a lot more grounds to stand on because it's an alternate fan thing, but still they're obviously using IP with the existing characters, right? Because it's not just about the story, it's about the characters as well. I mean, I think they're going to be blasted. I do. I think the fact that they're basically saying we didn't receive a cease and desist, but you ceased and you desisted. So, I mean, We can argue about whether or not you got an actual formal letter or not, but fact of the matter is you did cease. So, you know, clearly you understand what's going on. But, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Why am I not... Oh, I didn't follow them because they were doing the Attack on Titan stuff, right. That's why I wasn't following them. Because I was afraid of spoilers.